Now, walking into the streets of Nairobi, you will easily find a local vendor selling this. It's basically or locally known as a smocha and a smoya. Now, a smocha is basically a flat bread made of wheat, then combined with smoky, right, and some kachumbari, or basically tomatoes and onions, then sprinkled with different sauces. And smomaya is basically boiled eggs, still a flat bread, sprinkled with different sauces, and of course kachumbari. Those are onions and some tomatoes with some chili. Now, talking to one of the vendors right here in Nairobi, says that this type of food is mostly sought after by young people, and it's basically because of its affordability and how easily accessible it is. Now, basically just looking at the prices in terms of affordability, these how the prices, of course, we have the smocha, the hot dog, the smokies, and the mayai, that is the eggs, going at 30 shillings, 40, 70, and of course 70 shillings respectively. Now, in this particular video, as the world marks World Food Day today, that is the 16th of October 2024, I'll be speaking to a nutritionist, Dr. Peter Mokaya, and we'll basically be looking at how unhealthy smocha and smomaya is in terms of affecting someone's health, especially for the young people that go buying this particular two types of foods for its affordability and of course how easily accessible it is. So tune in, let's learn from Dr. Peter Mokaya and see how this particular food affects our health. Dr. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Have you ever heard of smocha?
Yes, I tend to once in a while interact with younger people. That's a combination of some small sausages with a little bit of kachumbari.
True.
Yeah.
Then chapati.
And chapati.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
for the carbohydrates.
Exactly.
All right.
And it's something very famous.
Yes.
And I think that's why I came to you as as an expert in the area of nutrition.
Yes.
Basically just to tell us how healthy do you think this is? Basically just breaking it down. The smokies, the kachumbari, and the carbohydrates, that's the wheat.
Right.
How healthy is it?
Right. Now that's and what people eat, especially the younger people, the Gen Zs, among other younger generation people, are changing. And indeed, what you just mentioned is popular among the younger people. Yeah. It's good food, because it's a component of carbohydrates, the charcoal, and it's a component of protein, the sausage, which is meat, and a little bit of kachumbari, which is a little bit of onions and tomatoes. Yes, and vegetables. It is indeed.
Okay.
Now, that's a good side. There's a little bit of combination. It's a good balance of carbohydrates, but a little bit of vitamins inside there within the tomatoes, the lycopene, which is useful in different ways.
Okay.
Especially for older people, but also for younger people. A little bit of fruit salad, more salad. But that's what I think I need to focus. There is a toxins within how that smocha is prepared. Firstly, is processed meat.
That is the smoky.
Yeah, smoky. The smoky is processed meat. Usually the leftovers of meat, that's not necessarily prime meat, concocted together, processed. The process of processing it introduces certain toxins that are not healthy. And secondly, the cooking. Yeah, the roasting.
Yeah.
The roasting releases I do not use the chemical names, but certain products that have been linked authoritatively to cancer causation, among other conditions. And of course, the environment. Where are these mochas sold?
It's being prepared.
Where are they being prepared?
Because most of them are actually prepared just along the way, along the roads.
There you go.
The dust and everything.
There you go. Yeah, that's a challenge. Have I tested them? Do I know what I'm talking about? Of course, I have. They are very sweet. And they're affordable. I don't want to say they're cheap. Times are hard. Everybody knows we are in this country and food is, So really, there is a caution. They say poison is in the dose. Too much of anything is not right. So the caution here, young people, older people, is that if you really have to eat, have some, but in moderation. But bear in mind that cumulatively, if you constantly consume these affordable, cheap products, you are building yourself into a risk of all NCDs. NCDs, the short form of non-communicable diseases. All the range from obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, and even different types of cancers, which we are seeing, unfortunately, occurring now in younger and younger people. So that smocha could be a risk factor for causation of all these NCDs, especially the cancers that we're now seeing occurring, unfortunately, more. As an epidemiologist, a public health physician, we've seen this trend. All of them, from diabetes, obesity, of course, they're linked, blood pressure, and most worrisome is the cancers. So, slow down. The chapo side as well. Chapo is a wheat product, yes. So again, gluten intolerance issues. The chapos, the way they're grown is wheat, sprayed with pesticides. My pet topic, I don't want to go into the details in that. Those are carcinogens. There are cases in court right now here in Kenya, in the US, and all over the place. So everything in moderation. The other thing about chapos, the carbohydrates, is how are they cooked and what oils are used. That actually also applies for smochas. The oils that are often used are cheap oils that we call unsaturated oils. The seed oils. People think that those are good oils, but they're actually bad. Very bad oils. So these chapos are often cooked with those kind of oils. And those oils, what problem do they have? They cause inflammation. Inflammation is a condition that once it's aggravated in the body, then it becomes a precursor for all the other conditions I mentioned: diabetes, high blood pressure, and
heart disease.
And heart diseases. Cardiovascular diseases. Yeah, one more thing that I mentioned: chapos are so sweet. How then would we eat chapos? If you have to eat chapos, preferably prepare them with saturated fats like ghee. Very sweet chapos. Yes. Those ones are okay, but still in moderation.
All right. Now, speaking of chapos, I'll just step aside from this mochas and this momaya. Actually, I don't understand why it's momaya and not mayacha.
Mayacha.
Mayai and chapati. Now, for the chapati bit, especially in the slum areas, Mokaya, Kibera, and all that, you'll find a family.
The informal settlement areas.
Yeah, the informal settlement. You'll find a family having chapati for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner as well. Just because in the informal settlement, a chapati is sold for 20 bob. So they'll prefer having that chapati for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner as well. Just because of, let me say, now this one is not affordability, but cheapness.
Yes, it's cheap. Indeed.
Yeah.
So it's actually all they can afford. Because again, as you said, because of the socioeconomic circumstances people find themselves in these informal settlements. aka slum areas.
Okay. And now you've already mentioned over the health bit of it, or the implications over the too much of carbohydrates, or rather wheat.
Yes.
Why is it? Someone might argue that, of course, going to buy now the vegetables and the fruits, how expensive they've become. So as a Kenyan and as a common mwananchi, what should I do? Or what should someone do?
Yes.
What food should they opt for?
Yes. Tough question. Firstly, the reason why they've chosen to eat or consume what they consume is because of the circumstances they find themselves in.
True.
And truthfully, under the circumstances they find themselves, taste, affordability, and a combination of carbohydrates, protein, and vitamins, that combination is actually not that bad. I need to say that.
Yeah.
And Gen Z used to think that I'm talking from the ivory towers. I want to be realistic and understand where they're coming from. And because they do that because they've gone through a process. Sometimes they do add avocado.
Very true.
Some people call it avocado, whichever terminologies.
That's very true.
The thing that I would say is don't necessarily try and deviate from that, because the options in the big cities, especially in the food deserts like in the informal settlements, it's difficult to find the options. Because actually the tomatoes they add there and the kitungu, little onion, is actually a vegetable. And actually there are certain benefits, as I said, in the kitungu, the nyanya, the aniline, which reduces the inflammation, and in the tomato, there is what we call lycopene. It's very healthy. It reduces, it's an antioxidant, cleans up the system. So I wouldn't necessarily theoretically say, oh, now I'll go buy fruits and vegetables. No. For those in the middle class and those who can afford, once in a while, take a break for those pochas. Come on, take a break.
It's too much of it.
Yes, it's too much of it that is bad. But that combination, I think there's an element of genius in young people to have come up with that. And again, in terms of cost, you don't need a Jiko. You need that extra cost of the Mokaya.
Accessibility as well. You get out of the
exactly. Yes, and it's tasty.
Yeah.
So really, what I'm passing on here, this is a mix of good news and bad news. The good news bit is that combination, generally from a balanced food perspective, is okay. And I'm speaking from a realistic, pragmatic perspective. Okay. But eating too much of that all the time, especially in the environments where you find it, then you build up these poisons, these toxins, which then slowly kill you or make your health deteriorate. Yeah, because I don't want to go into the health idea that look for vegetables and these vegetables are probably most likely gotten from those why I'm talking about dirty water and they've been sprayed with all these pesticides. So you're jumping from, as they say, from one challenge into another challenge.
Okay, I think that's fair enough. So what will be your parting shots?
My parting shot will be young people, as much as possible, if you can afford to diversify that with healthier foods, preferably organic, meaning not grown with chemicals and pesticides. Have a little kitchen garden. Yeah. If possible, link up with your folks up country, the matoke, the vegetables, the nderemas, the sagas, the manogus, your grandpas, the widgets, michevebes. Honestly, that would add years and add quality to your life. So we love you, we value you, but just try and make a diversity. And so from this end, as we say, may all good things happen to you. Blessings, ancestral blessings, and may the future become bright. Right now, we know things are pretty tough, but hang in there. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. for that. Now that was Dr. Peter Mokaya. As I said earlier on, he's from Organic Consumers Alliance, or rather the director and CEO of Organic Consumers Alliance, and is also a public health physician. So you've heard young people. I know I'm part of the young people, and actually for Small Charles and Small Mayas, it's not just about the young people, the Gen Zs. Yeah, the millennials are also there. So you've heard that it's actually not bad, but again, it's too much of it that is poisonous. All right. So as you take that, just combine it, of course, with healthy foods and do it with moderation. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for watching. I hope this has been educational, or rather informative to you. Please feel free to share this particular video so that other young people, other Kenyans are also learning from it, of course, and taking care of their health and avoiding the non-communicable diseases. Remember that this was coming to you courtesy of World Food Day that is being marked today, October 16th, 2024. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Ida Munzati. Please, once again, feel free to share this video.